trying to impress people, and I was a people pleaser. And so the concept of God wasn't even quite there at all.
Yeah.
It was kind of like just living life in a worldly fashion. I don't know for a fact if I would have died, if God was going to hold in judgment upon me at that time, yeah, I probably wouldn't have made it. Um, is probably how I would word it. Now, is that fair and is that the most just? I have no clue. I'm still kind of wrestling with like, um, there's the Jewish belief of that they didn't hold you didn't enter into manhood until your bar mitzvah or whatever, which was like 11 to 13 years of age, when you were considered to be consciously aware of your sin and
Yeah.
responsible for your
So if it's
action.
like before the age of accountability, or when you're considered no longer a child, then maybe you're under your parents' covering, or that kind of
Yeah, that
thing.
there's this but Jewish belief, and I could be wrong in this, but from what I've read, that there's this innocence, this
Yeah.
gap of innocence about you. Um, but I don't know if that's just solely Jewish tradition or that's actual biblical
So
tradition.
I'm going to ask you the same two questions I asked some people at a diner up here in Longmont. So first question is, do you have any sense of what your purpose in life is? And if so, what do you think it is?
Hmm. I mean, it's gonna sound really cheesy, but I can't shake it off anymore. I personally feel like purpose comes from simply abiding in Jesus, having a relationship with Jesus. And I take that from John 17:3. And this is eternal life, that you would know God and Jesus Christ. You could also find that in the other parts of the Gospels of Jesus saying, I am the door. No one comes to the Father except through me. Matthew 6, I believe, or 7. I think it's 7, when he calls out the Pharisees in a certain crowd for being like, hey, didn't we cast out demons and do all these things in your name? And he's like, get out of here, you workers of lawlessness. I never knew you. And he's pointing to the relationship aspect, that you can do all these things, even these really good things, purpose. Um, but at the end of the day, if you don't have an abiding relationship with Jesus, then none of those things actually are uh eternal. They don't transcend. That is what, at this point, how I orient my life is from the
Yeah.
moment I wake up to when I lay down to everything I do in between,
Yeah.
is constantly resetting myself and inviting God into meeting to meeting or moment to moment, to reveal his glory, his presence, to speak to me as I go. Um, yeah, to be
I
yoked.
like I like it that you didn't put it to like a certain thing in your life, like or a job or a vocation or even family, but you put it to just knowing Jesus, and then whatever flows out of that is secondary purpose. So
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Okay.
secondary.
Second question: do you feel like you're living and accomplishing that purpose then?
Yeah, I feel like I am. I feel like I'm pretty tight with Jesus, is probably how I would put it. I don't have the perfect, obviously, no, I don't think anyone does. I think others have deeper, richer relationship with Jesus to the degree that they invest in him or with him. And so I would say I'm pretty well vested. I could point you obvious areas in my life that are still like I'm lazy in, or not quite fully as intentional as it probably should be with Jesus. And I feel the consequence of that every now and then. But I
Hmm.
would say overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the Lord, and I feel like the Lord's pretty satisfied with me. Something the Lord asked me, invited me to, uh, a few weeks ago now, has been starting my morning on my knees in the shower as I take a shower.
Hmm.
And so at first it was really weird, because I'm naked, I'm in the shower, and I'm talking to God. So yeah. But I'm th
That's where if your prayer life lasts too long, then nobody else gets any hot water. Have you thought of that?
that actually happens a lot. So
I
yeah, I started doing that a few weeks ago, and it's been really good. But one of the things he said is, don't move until I talk to you. And I was like, oh, okay. So, talk to him, let him know what I'm looking forward to in the day and kind of what I want to see, da 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 da, and I surrender it all to him. And then I just want, hey, Lord, what do you want to say? And I just wait. And sometimes it takes 30 seconds, sometimes it takes 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but eventually my mind is quiet enough to hear the voice of the Lord. And sometimes it's like one sentence, sometimes it's a
Yeah.
paragraph, sometimes
What
it's like
kind,
a
if you don't
revelation.
mind me asking, what kind of stuff does he tell you?
Um, a lot of it's like how much he loves me, he's proud of me. There's like some of those basic things, but then there's other things like um certain heart problems that I'm not even aware of. He'll just kind of bring up and be like, "Hey, did you realize the reason you got a little snippy here the other day? Do you remember that day? You remember that memory? Uh, it was coming actually from something deeper," and he would like walk me through it. Um,
Hmm.
or it's maybe things I'm anxious about that I'm not even realizing I'm anxious about. And he's inviting me to surrender those things and reminding me that everything's going to work out.
Okay.
Um,
That's cool.
and some of
That's
it's
awesome.
revelatory, like things that are to come in the future, but to just lay those in the back of my head for now and
Like
just
for
what,
your life or in the world or,
yeah, mostly for my life.
yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
like prophetic promises, in some regards. And so I
Wow.
just kind of hold off on those things that have been spoken to in the past that he's either reaffirming or either new things that are coming. Um,
Interesting.
yeah.
That's incredible. Okay. Well, let's zoom back and I want to hear a little bit about your life story. So were you born in the United States?
No, I was born in Mexico in Jalisco.
How exactly did you end up here? What's that story?
Uh, well, my parents immigrated, year 2000, they brought us over. And we crossed through the border illegally, obviously.
I
And
don't know. It wasn't obvious to me. So how old
oh,
were you when they crossed and what did that look like?
I was 6 years old. Um,
So do you
when
remember this?
odd, vague memories, like chunks littered.
Okay.